Hello lovelies, how are you all doing today? I do hope you are well. I am. I'm just back from getting up cardio hill. I'm not going to say it gets easier every day, but it's definitely easier than when I first moved. So I think, yes, definite improvement. Right, I thought today I'd do a shopping video with you because I haven't done one for ages. Apart from, I know I did that food delivery video. That was my first delivery from Sainsbury's. Yay! But otherwise, I haven't done my normal weekly shop with you for ages. And today is typical of an untypical week. It does make sense, you'll see what I mean. So I thought, yeah, I'll share this with you today. And also because I know that I've had so many new subscribers since I moved down here. There are probably people out there who have absolutely zero idea about my budget and how I manage, etc, etc. So for those who don't know me, haven't seen many of my videos before, I do live on a really tight budget, that's partly because income isn't fantastic, you know, YouTube, sewing and my shop. But also it's because, yeah, so it's mainly that, but also I'm a saver. And for instance, I want to redo the kitchen, there are things I want to do out in the garden, and they're all going to cost money, so I have to save for that. You know, someone was recently speculating about, oh, you're doing all this spending, have you won the lottery? No, certainly blooming haven't. If I'd won the lottery, do you think I'd be flogging my guts out doing YouTube still? No. Every spending, every penny that I'm spending, I've earned and I've saved. So I have this really strict budget. I have two priorities with my money. One, I get my bills paid, whether that's my monthly or annual bills. So if it's monthly bills, it goes out there and then. If it's an annual bill, I put it into a savings account so that by the time the year comes round and I get that bill, a boiler maintenance charge, for instance, or what are your other annual things like insurance, that sort of thing. So every month I'm putting that money aside for those annual bills. So I get my bills paid and I then allow myself £50 a week to live on for everything. That's absolutely everything. That's food, entertainment, travel, clothes, it literally absolutely everything. And I managed perfectly well. And obviously in all the years when I had the allotment, I did really well for that because there were weeks when I'd have a zero food bill because it's all coming from the allotment. Anyway, so that's what I've carried on now that I'm in Swanage. My monthly bills, like, you know, the gas, lecky, council tax, all of that has gone up a bit. So yes, I've had a slight increase in revenue with YouTube because I'm getting more views on my videos, yay! But that's immediately kind of, you know, just null and voided in a way by the fact that my bills have gone up. So I am still living on 50 quid a week and will continue to do so for the foreseeable because, like I said, I'm saving for the kitchen, I'm saving for the garden, and hopefully in 3 or 4 years' time when those things are done, I will still save for emergencies, etc. But I won't have to save quite so hard, so I might be able to live on 60 quid a week, yay! Or even 70, yay! Anyway, so I didn't have, so the way it works with me is I go to the bank, I've got my change here, I'll talk about the full amount in a second. I go to the bank and get my cash out. So in Swanage, we don't really have any banks, so the habit has changed in Swanage. So now on Monday morning, when I go to the post office, especially if I've had orders from my shop over the weekend, I take them to the post office on a Monday morning and I get my 50 quid out and then I'm done for the week. Brilliant. I like to operate in cash. Just means that once my purse is empty, that's it, you can't do any more spending. So, I mentioned it's an untypical week, but it's a typical untypical week. What I mean by that is I didn't really actually have to buy much food. Yay! So I will go through what I've bought by way of food. I didn't have to buy much food because it was about, when did Richard and Paul come to say? About 3 weeks or so ago, I did a big shop of all my cupboard stuff, all my store cupboard stuff. Plus they brought a few tin stuff bits along with them. So I'm really well stocked in terms of my pantry. My freezer is absolutely chock full of meals that I've made. So another thing, if you don't know that about me yet, because someone mentioned in a video recently that, you know, how I don't do enough cooking to justify changing the hob on the stove, because I don't like that hob. And I thought, what do you mean I don't do enough cooking? I cook every single day, at least what, or yeah, I mean, I cook my breakfast every single morning, and then lunch and dinner, I make all my own food too. Now, a lot of it I put in the freezer, I batch cook, so I can put a meal in the freezer, get it out the night before, defrost it, so I'm just reheating it rather than actually cooking it, but I cook everything from scratch. So, having a pantry that's stuffed to the gills, going back 3 weeks ago, and it wasn't a hugely expensive shop, I just filled up. So I didn't need to do much this week. That's the point I'm making. So now I've got all the ingredients I can possibly need to knock up, you know, myriad different meals. The only thing to add in are some fresh bits. So I've got some bits and bobs in the fridge left over. I'll use those up first. So before I do any buying, I'll use that up in terms of the fresh produce. So I've got some carrots, I've got some celery, I've got a tiny bit of broccoli, I've got a handful of tomatoes left. So for now, I won't do any fresh buying, but knowing what I've got left over from my shopping today, there is money towards the end of the week to go and buy some fresh produce if I either need or want. So what did I buy? Right. So bearing in mind I don't need to buy a lot of food, there are some non-food items. So sorry, that's what I was trying to explain. The fact is, if I don't need to, because that 50 quid a week has to do everything, absolutely everything in my life, apart from the furniture, I had a special budget for that. That was a savings fund that I've been paying into for years and years and years. Likewise, the windows, all of that stuff. But when it comes to, they're all big one-off items, but otherwise everything has to come from that 50 quid. So in a week this week where I don't have to buy much food, that's the kind of week where I'll say to myself, right, you can pick up some of those other non-food items, bits and bobs that you've been needing for a while. And I tend to keep a little running list of things where I think, oh, I could probably do with one of those, or I could probably do with a new one of that. I need to replace my old one, etc., etc. So on a week like this, I can think, right, let's have a look at a couple of the items on that list and see if I can squeeze them in this week, because I don't have to buy much food. But let's start with the food. Let's start with Co-op. I bought 2 of these kefir yogurts. I'll either buy this Beautiful or I think it's Yo Valley, isn't it? I don't mind which one. I don't have any of that kind of brand loyalty. Basically, whichever one is on offer. So down here, Co-op stock the Beautiful, Budgeons stock the Yo Valley. So Budgeons is on my way to Co-op, so I'll nip in, have a quick look, and at the moment it's not on offer, it's £2.5. Go up to Co-op. This isn't on offer either, but it's cheaper. So I got it from Co-op, and they are £1.85 each. So I've got two will last me. I have half a pot as a portion with some berries. I've got berries left over from last week. I've also got some frozen berries, so when the fresh berries run out, I'll get those frozen berries out, get them out the night before, let them defrost. I mean, you don't want to be eating frozen berries in your yogurt. Well, I don't know, break a tooth. So defrost them the night before and then add them the following day, add them to the yogurt. So 2 pots is going to be 4 portions, so I have it kind of on alternate days. Love it. I'd have it every single day if it wasn't so blimmin' expensive. So they were £1.85 each. Then this is a bit of a store cupboard thing again. I got 2 boxes of oat cakes. They're £1.15 a box. I did have some from Sainsbury's when I did that big Sainsbury's order, but they've all gone now. What I like about these is, well, I like and I don't like individual packaging, too much packaging, but they're packed in little groups of 6. So when you open it, you don't end up scoffing the whole blooming lot. So, for instance, I think I might be doing this for my lunch today. A couple of those, a bit of hummus, and then one of the other things I've bought. So a couple of those with a bit of homemade hummus, my yoghurt and berries, and then this other thing that's coming up next. That'll be a nice lunch for me. So I bought 2, £1.15 each. Then the last thing is some apples, £1.50. They didn't have any organic apples in today. That's a bit hit and miss. Also, these aren't organic, so I think Sainsbury's, was it Sainsbury's that do an organic one? Next time I order from Sainsbury's, I'll double check, because virtually the entire order from Sainsbury's is organic, which is great. So anyway, that's a total of, what did she say? She said, oh, it's £8 dead, but with my, yeah, as a co-op member, you have saved 51p. So it was £8, and then, because I flashed my co-op card, it came to, what is that? What did I say? So it's the £7.49. Okay, so I spent £7.49 there. Then, in other food news, I went to Grape Tree. Really love them. Figs, dried figs, a kilo. Grape Tree is by far the cheapest place I found for dried fruit. Blooming love that. That's going to the rest of it there in a minute. They're lovely, anywhere between sort of 5 and 10 dried figs. If I'm feeling peckish in the evening, that's my little... I like them because they're good and chewy. That's my sweet treat. So they are not cheap. £9.99. It's a luxury, but I love them, so I'm going to have it. And then I also made the most of, they do 3 for 2 on their tubs of herbs and spices. So you buy 3 and you pay for 2. And oh my goodness, it makes them... This is such great value in terms of, if you were just buying, you know, you like your box, I don't have one to show you, I don't keep them. Mine are all in jars because I buy my herbs and spices in bulk. But you know the kind of, is it Schwartz? Is that the famous brand one? But all supermarkets do them. And you get anywhere between 10 and 15 grams in one of those. Oh, sorry. I mean, buying like this to me is a no-brainer. So I have bought, that's 150 grams of ground turmeric, £2.39. I mean that, I think I showed this, didn't I, when I first moved here in one of my first videos when I've been to the shops. I think it makes it's like a quarter of the price of buying those individual little glass, or quite often it's not even glass, plastic, you know, the ones that look like Nutcracker men, you know, Christmas nutcrackers, you know the ones I mean, so much cheaper. So that was £2.39. Then I had, no, sorry, yes, £2.39. Then I bought ground cumin, and I don't know how much that was because it's taken off because it's 3 for 2, so I didn't pay for that one at all. I think it's always the cheapest is free. So that's 100 grams in there. And then finally for £2.59, a massive tub of, this is herb de Provence. So it's, what's in there? 80 grams. Rosemary, thyme, sage, parsley, marjoram, oregano and basil. So it's a real sort of standard herb mix. I do have herbs separately as well, but when I'm making, you know, like a pasta sauce or whatever, herb de Provence. So I spent in Grape Tree, so the cumin was free. I spent a total of, it sits here, £14.97. They also have a loyalty card, and she informed me today that I've got 52p on my loyalty card. Did I want to take it off the bill? And I said, no thank you. Just leave it, because 52p ain't going to buy me anything, is it? Right, so that's it with my food shopping. That's it. That's all my food for the week. That's obviously not the only thing I'm going to eat this week. Like I said, full pantry. I've got leftover bits of fresh produce in the fridge. And then towards the end of the week, or in about another 4 or 5 days, I'll just go out and I'll buy a little bit more fresh stuff. My reckoning is, we'll check in a second, I've spent a little bit over 30, I spent £34.43 today. So I've got 5, 10, hold on, 5, 10, that's 5 £1 coins, that's 15, I should have £15.50 something. Hold on, there's my 50, and then I've got, you see, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, so I've got £15.57 to last the rest of the week for anything and everything that I may need. So that's plenty for a bit of fresh produce in the week. And then hopefully by the end of the week there might be 4 or 5 quid that I haven't even spent at all, and that goes straight back to the post office into my savings account. If I'm not going to, I always do that as well. If it gets to the end of the week and there's £10 left, put it into savings. I don't think, ooh, I've got £10, what shall I buy? You don't need anything, don't buy it. Right, now on to the typical, untypical. So, this measuring jug, been after a glass one for ages. I found it in a charity shop, couple of quid. I thought, brilliant. I know why it was in a charity shop now. It's rubbish. It's absolutely awful. It's a cheap knockoff of the one that I have bought. The problem with it doesn't pour. So I go to pour and it kind of comes out the spout and comes down and splashes out the back. It's absolutely useless. That's why it was in a charity shop. Now, I don't really want to put that into a charity shop. Someone buys it and finds the exact same problem that I had. So I think I'm going to have to just put it in the recycling. It's useless for the job it's supposed to do. So one of my purchases today is a proper one. It's Pyrex, good old Pyrex. Fantastic ergonomic design with that little bit of a ridge on the top that you can catch your thumb to, because that's heavy when it goes up to a litre, and that's got a litre of scalding liquid in. It's heavy. So, yeah, good old Nixon's, and that was, can you make it out? £9.99. But that's going to last me the rest of my life, and after my life, whoever gets my property and gets all my goodies, it'll last them their lifetime too. It's just such a shame that the charity shop one was useless. So that was £9.99, and I also bought some seeds. They were 99 pence a packet. I bought 2 packets of foxgloves. Not quite sure when you're going to see this video. For me, I'm still, where am I? I'm about halfway through June, mid-June. Now is the time for me to be sewing my foxgloves so that they'll come on, hopefully, they'll come on this year. I'll have, as we go into winter, hopefully have nice little plants, because they're a biennial, so they flower in their 2nd year. So I want to get them started this year, so that then when the shade garden is cleared and ready for them, plant them, and then they'll flower next year. And likewise next year, around this time, I'll do some more sowings, so that hopefully the following year I'll have some to flower as the others have died back, and then they come back. They're a perennial, so they are a perennial, aren't they? Yeah, of course they are, because in the wild they just keep coming back and back and back, and they should self-seed. So yeah, 99 pence each packet of seeds. I bought 2 because I've heard they can be a bit tricky, and I really, 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 really want them. So that gave me a total at Nixon's of, yeah, you make it out £11.97. That'll tell us the date. What's the date? 9th of June. So, yes, like I said, that's a typical week for me, when I don't have to buy a lot of food. I swap it out and I say, right, well, I'll get some non-food items that are on that wish list, need list. Also, just while we're on the subject of seeds, I just went through my seed tins again, and I've pulled out, I've got a few, there's 3 packets there, different lettuces. I think someone must have given these to me because I wouldn't normally buy a non-organic, but some more lettuce. The packets have stuck together. They're supposed to, actually it says best before December 25, so I might just get in with those. These all say best before January 25, May 25, September 25. I might as well give them a go. It's getting some salad leaves on the go for myself, so that hopefully when I've got tomatoes and cucumbers, it's the joy of the hope of being able to start eating from the garden again and reduce my food bill even more. Oh, and I found the Aquilegia, this lovely kind of almost lime white. So am I in time? So indoors, so outdoors, June, yeah. I might pop these in at the same time as I'm doing the foxgloves. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Again, for the shady area. I'm going to show you something in a minute, but we've got to go in another room to see it. So just before we go in the other room, the other thing is I found... Oh, let me show you it in situ and then you'll understand what I mean and about why this ended up hidden. And also pop my yogurt in the fridge. So, my lovely little indoor watering can. And again, I know someone asked recently about my garden ones, but all my watering cans are by Haws, Haws. They are not cheap, but again, they are a lifetime investment. I bought this one for myself. Haws, I wonder if it'll pick it up. Can you see it on there? In relief. My metal ones were a Christmas present. They are super expensive, but like I said, they'll last a lifetime and you can then pass them on to your children, your grandchildren. By the time, if you pass them on in 50, 60, 70 years, they'll be vintage Haws, they'll be worth a fortune. Your grandchildren will put them on eBay and say, stuff water in the garden with them, I'm flogging them. Anyway, so this used to, in my London flat, used to sit under the counter behind the curtain at that end, the sort of slopey eaves end of the kitchen. So, always lived there. When I came to packing up, I suddenly thought, the rose stores on this part. So when I'm using it, it's on the end. Oh, it's my little fine rose. But when I'm not using it, it just stores on this nubbin here. And I thought, that's asking for trouble in the move. That's asking to sort of fall off and get lost. I know, before that happens, I'll take it off and put it somewhere safe. Oh my goodness, how many of us put things away somewhere safe and then have not a clue? So when I sewed everything, when I had that sewing session at the end of April, I'd only just been in a little while and I thought, let's get sowing some seeds, just in case I can clear a bit of the garden. I could not find it anywhere. I have got that set of, those IKEA pine drawers, the set of 6 that used to also go under the counter. I thought it must be in there. I must have taken it off and put it straight in the drawer because they live together. No, couldn't find it in my toolbox. Could not find it. Obviously I found it. It was in my bureau. But I unpacked. I had to unpack a box of all my bureau stuff to put it into the drawer of the bureau. Why did I not see it? Anyway, when I found it about a week ago, I thought, I don't need it now because all the seedlings are now plants and most of them are actually planted. But then when I suddenly thought about the foxgloves, I thought, yay, I'm so glad I've got that little fine rose so that when those seeds first go in, it's a nice, fine, gentle watering. Because you want to really soak the compost, but you don't want to kind of wash the seeds all over the place. A fine rose held over there for a goodly little while. Right, and also, last thing, I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to take you into my bedroom because, hello, she gets saucy. I want to show you one of my plants and something that's happened that I'm sort of like, what? This is a miracle, I've never seen this before. So come on, let me show you what is going on with my St. George's sword plant, also known as snake plant. Also, have to write this down, I can never remember its real name. Sansevieria, my Sansevieria plant. Let's go and have a look. So here it is. Actually, just before we look at the Sansevieria, look, my autumn. This is an autumn cactus, and it's flowering. What's going on? So now I've had to close the blinds behind so that we don't get blinded. Maybe a bit more, because otherwise I'm shooting straight into light. But I need enough light for you to see. So, happy, healthy plant. I can see I've got a new leaf coming, but this is what, oh, sorry, this noise is going to go through some people. Do you see what I see? Flower. I've never seen one flower before. I mean, you know, obviously, you know, all plants have to flower at some point. It's some sort of flower because of reproduction. But, wow. I mean, I've never seen it. So as soon as I saw that, everyone's slightly out of focus now. As soon as I saw that, you can imagine, I went online to look up, tell me everything about Sansevieria and their flowers and etc. etc. So what I read is that the flower, so it's not actually it's not fully formed yet. It's got a ways to go. But the flower tends to open, it's a nocturnal flower, so it will open in the evening and at night. And apparently it has the most beautiful, beautiful scent that's somewhere between, what did it describe? Vanilla and jasmine. So, oh my goodness, that in my bedroom at night should be utterly delicious. So as it progresses, I hope it comes to fruition. I hope it doesn't decide to think like, oh, I'm scared of flowering. I'm not supposed to be flowering. I'm gonna drop this flower. But yeah, if it does come to fruition, I will be sure to keep you posted and give you an updated look at it as it opens. But isn't that wonderful? So I'm not quite sure why this is. I know someone was asking because I posted about this on Facebook. This window, sorry, that's that screechy sound again. I'm going to put it back to exactly where it was, well, pretty much exactly where it was, because, you know, obviously it likes it. But this window is northwest facing, so it's not, there's not, I mean, if I open it'll seem really, really bright, but that's just because we're shooting into direct light. There's no direct sunlight on these plants all day, no direct sunlight. Obviously there is this sort of ambient light that's coming through, but no direct light. Until quite late into the evening, as we get towards sunset, then I get a little moment of light pouring through into here. So for about the last hour of daylight, it does get some light. Yeah, so perhaps it just really, really likes the northwest light. Certainly, just back at that, my autumn cactus seems to like the light. In terms of temperature, the whole flat is cool. Let me sit down again. Yes, in terms of the temperature in here, I mean the whole flat is a cool home. It's definitely cool rather than. It's such a contrast to London. So obviously I've got 2 foot thick, in places even thicker, stone walls. It keeps the heat out. Hopefully once windows are done I can keep heat in as well. So, you know, where I was in the roof in London, when we had that summer we went up to 42 degrees, my thermostat in the flat at one point registered 48 degrees because that heat was just building and building and building and it just couldn't escape. So, yeah, it's a huge contrast. Also, the outside temperatures in terms of, for me, for gardening, I'm having to just slightly adjust a bit. Friends in London, you know, they'll message me it's 26 degrees, whereas here in Swanage it's 17, 16 degrees, in some cases 10 degrees less. So back to these houseplants, I would say the ambient temperature in here has not gone above 17, 18 degrees, even when I was having the heating on. This whole place, none of my thermometers have been into 20 something Celsius yet. I've not reached 20. And you all know, well, those who know me, you'll know how I love warmth. I love 24, 25 degrees, oh, I'm so happy. Anything less than 20, and I was like, oh, I'm getting used to it. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it getting hotter. Need some heat. But the plants seem to like it, and that's the main point, isn't it? Northwest light, probably, I think the ambient temperature in here has mostly been 16, 17 degrees. Is that what's brought them into flower? Who knows? I will show you it when it actually does open. Right, I'm going to shut up now. Shopping video, and we've ended up in the bedroom. Yay! We'll do whatever we want, whenever we want, and however we fancy, won't we? I will see you all again really soon. Oh, I'm not sure for what. We might be back out in the garden, because I am inching ahead with it, really slowly, but I am inching ahead with it. So hopefully I'll give you an update on that. If not in the next video, soon. Until then, never mind. We'll do whatever happens will happen. I will see you all soon. Until then, look after yourselves. Cheerio.